Extra. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the newest Metal Hammer of Doom Extra. And this week, we've got 3 new videos that we're going to be taking a look at.
This week on the Metal Hammer of Doom, we will be reviewing the latest from The Sword, Used Future. This dropped Friday, March 23rd. And we're going to go ahead and review that album for your listening pleasure.
We're going to be doing 3 videos. One called Freya from The Sword. The other one is Maiden, Mother, and Crone. And then off the new album, we're going to be talking about Twilight Sunrise.
Let me go ahead and say right off the bat, I really love The Sword. I really, really like this band.
Yes,
make that
indeed.
clear. You know, I really dig on the whole stoner rock vibe. You know, we're 3 months into the Metal Hammer of Doom in 2018, and there have been, you know, some albums I thought were meh. There were some albums I thought were a little less than meh. I was really, really excited and really, really happy about MHOD, but MHOD, you know, tends to fall on that gimmicky side of metal.
Oh, yeah. Tongue in cheek.
As far as just pure rock and roll metal musical goodness, this is probably the first album I've heard this year that I was expecting a lot from, and I finally was rewarded for my faithfulness to the band. When I tell you I think The Sword so far, Used Future, have put out the best album in 2018 that we've covered, I don't think that's hyperbole. I mean, it's up for debate. I know there's another album that you tended to prefer. I know Robert Cooper tends to lean heavily on Orphan Land, which I barely remember because that show was messed up on Blog Talk Radio. The same thing with Machine Head. I'd have to go back and listen to him again. I was just so frustrated those nights. But like I said, overall, it's the first album I've heard starting this year where I was like, yeah, this is going to get multiple plays. This is going to get multiple listens.
Okay. Yeah. It's going to take a few more listens for me to figure out where I'm going to grade it at. I've listened
to baby metal.
Apparently not.
Be clear, it's no baby metal. I just want to be, you know, I mean, there's not much out there that's better than baby metal, but it's still good, okay? Not as good as baby metal.
Boy, if we could have only said that back about a week or 2 ago. I guess we're going to go ahead and get to it here. We'll get to these 3 videos in 3, 2, 1. All right. So we're at The Sword Freya official video. The Sword Music. Let's try this again. The Sword Music is the name of the YouTube page. The Sword, the Freya is what we're going to be looking at. Now, I think it's just called Freya. But regardless, the YouTube video is titled The Freya. So I don't know if they just messed up there, which I think they did. But here we go. Mark Radulich, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, I need to turn my music, my bit of volume back up here a little bit. All right, so we've talked about The Sword before plenty of times on the Metal Hammer of Doom.
Sure. Well, other than pirate metal, our favorite thing is stoner rock.
I, of course, first heard of this band. Where's Robert Cooper when you need him?
All right, everyone get ready to take a drink.
When I played Guitar Hero 3. That is the first time I ever heard of these guys. And if there was ever a vehicle primed to sell somebody music, Guitar Hero 3 was probably it, because I was exposed to a lot of bands I'd never heard of through that game. And I wasn't a young guy at the time. So it's not like I had, I'd just gotten into metal or anything like that. I knew quite a bit. You know, I was a big fan of Clutch, things like that, but I'd never heard of The Sword. So,
yeah, I wasn't as familiar with the Sword at the time that I was playing Guitar Hero 3, and I never played Guitar Hero 1 or 2. Guitar Hero 3 is where I started, and I had known of The Sword. I knew they existed, but I couldn't pick out a song of theirs that really had stuck in my head. Probably until this, and this obviously sounds very familiar. You know, I'm a fan of The Sword. I've seen them live in concert. I actually saw them play with Clutch a couple years ago.
Oh man, I wanted to go to that tour so bad, dude.
As usual with me, the one song that sticks out from a band is their cover. And in this case, it's the cover of Cheap Sunglasses.
Yeah, that's some good stuff. So, I mean, let's comment on the video here. Clearly, we've got a medieval theme, I guess you'd say.
I think this is pretty artfully done. I mean, it's shots of the band, but it's a lot of it's in shadow, and they keep intercutting between the band playing in shadow and looks like a Viking going off to war.
Something.
There's some debates in the comments about what kind of soldier this is that's being dressed for battle.
Well, they definitely have a sword, so that's at least.
So it's not Vietnam or anything.
So it's at least in line with the name of the band. Most of their videos that I've seen usually tell some type of a story. We're not going to talk about it, but I toyed with the idea of doing the 3 that came off of Warp Riders, which was I can't remember the 3 off the top of my head. I know Trace Brujas was one of them. And anyway, those 3 videos were released, to promote the album, and it told a trilogy of stories across.
Looking at the videos for Warp Riders, those videos were. Hang on.
I loved playing this on Guitar Hero 3. This is one of my favorite songs to play on there. I went to free play and I played this song all the time.
Okay, what album was that from? You said Warp Riders?
Warp Riders, I believe.
Okay, I tell you.
Fight in vain.
Yeah, that had Trey Brujas on it and Lawless Lands.
Lawless Lands. Well, I thought it was a trilogy. Was there? Maybe it was just the 2. No, there's. Well,
according to the wiki, the list of videos that came out in 2010 were Trey Brujas, Lawless Lands, and then 2011 was Night City.
Night City.
And Night City was on Warp Riders. You are correct.
Do you remember? Does it say anything about them telling a story across all the videos? Just straight up dropped. He did a mic drop, but he did a sword drop right in front of that guy.
Like you do.
All right.
Oops. I need to stop that.
So does it say anything about there being like a trilogy of videos on that?
Well, there's a part of the Wikipedia that talks about science fiction storyline. Warp Riders is the Sword's first concept album.
Oh, it's a concept. Okay.
Yeah. It's also the most flat-out, supercharged, adrenaline-pumping work yet. A chrome-plated war machine that lords over the blackened sky. From the street-prowling anthems Night City and Lawless Lands to the 2-part showdown of the Chronomancer to the furious mechanics of the closing track, The Night the Sky Cried, Tears of Fire. The Sword forces eminent domain, ruling over heavy metal for the next decade, and welcome all challengers for an ill-fated shot at the title.
Well, regardless, Warp Riders I think is my favorite album. We'll get into that more on Wednesday. But all right, so that was the Freya, excuse me. That was Freya by the Sword. What closing thoughts do you have in regards to that video or that song?
It's a great song. I do remember playing it on Guitar Hero now that you mention it. It's fun. It's got those crunchy guitar riffs. Again, I don't have a whole lot to say about the video. It was the same 2 shots basically. It was the one of the band in a gray and black shadowy atmosphere, and then an orange dusk setting where the battle was taking place. Okay. It's not every it's like I said about the Judas Priest videos, not every video is going to be particularly artfully done. Some are going to be kind of plain, some are going to be really interesting. I mean, I think that's why I've been stuck on it for all these years. Like Spike Jonze's Sabotage video to me is like at the peak of video making.
Mm-hmm.
They really took a high concept with Sabotage. I don't know if you've ever seen the video before, but it's like the entire video is supposed to be like the opening to a 70s TV show.
I do remember that. It's been a while since I've seen it, but
or Weezer's Buddy Holly, where they have the band playing at Al's from Happy Days.
From Happy Days. I remember that.
I mean, when it reaches that level, I have a lot to say, and I get really excited by those kinds of videos. But some of these other ones, I'm like, all right, they're fine.
Yeah, it's a video.
This is definitely firmly in the fine category.
Okay. Okay, Mark, give our listeners one more opportunity to figure out where we're going to be this coming Wednesday and what exactly we're going to be talking.
Once again, you can find all of our shows here on the Rattlegion Broadcasting Network on Spreaker. If you go to our public Spreaker website, that is Spreaker.com/Radulich, Radulich in broadcasting. This whole week, we've got a bunch of great shows for you on the Source Material podcast. We're going to be looking at The Many Worlds of Krypton. It's a Superman book. It just got reprinted with some extra material March 6th. So we're going to go ahead and review that for you because Sci-Fi just started their new Krypton series. So we're synergizing with that. Tuesday's a review for a better Transformer movie than the actual Transformers movies. Pacific Rim, Uprising. Fantastic. And then, of course, as I said, Wednesday is the Metal Hammer of Doom, Used Future, The Sword. That's Spreaker.com/Radulich in broadcasting. You can also find us on YouTube. All of our shows on YouTube get located at my personal YouTube page, which is Mark Radulich. You can find all of the shows there as a YouTube video for your listening pleasure if that's how you listen to podcasts. So that's where you'll find us.
Very good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, go give the Radulich in Broadcasting Network Facebook page a like to stay up on top of all the great podcasts we have to offer. This has been the Metal Hammer of Doom Extra.